Welcome to Couch Reacts. You're here with Bearman and Black Cat and a squid.
It's called a pufferfish.
All right, I gotta take this hat off now because I can't have my headphones on when I've got it on. I was wearing that hat during the Bears Packers game though, and they won. So just throwing
Ah.
it out there. Didn't work so well for the Rams game, but that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Bears Rams. We're all Bears fans here. We're here to talk about the Bears Rams game. And then we're going to talk about the Bears season as a whole, and what were we surprised by, what was fun to watch for us, and then we're going to talk about kind of expectations going into the next season. So
Wait, we're gonna record this? I thought this was just the Bears Law support group.
that's right. Now we're actually going to record it.
Oh, well, okay. I'll
But
hold back whatever tears I had.
but Ryan,
I have a
when I call on you, you can say hi. I'm Ryan, and I'm a Bears fan, and we can say hi, Ryan.
Been
Ryan.
closeted Saints fan for a number of years, but I am a Bears fan.
I have a handkerchief on both shoulders for you, Ryan.
That won't work. I'm not next to you, Caleb.
the,
Whose fault is that?
The funny thing about Ryan this season is, yes, he did become a closeted Saints fan. It's like, okay, so your team is finally doing well, but you just missed the misery of rooting for a team that sucks, so you have to go to the Saints.
Saints will do well.
Ryan never wants to be on top. He always wants to root for the underdog. Okay, so let's get to it. We're doing this reaction a little bit late. The AFC and NFC championship games have ended, and we're just now getting to our Bears reactions, but partially because of Caleb's impossible schedule. Couldn't
It
get
took
a
me
hold
that
of him.
long to dry. It took me that long to dry my tears.
That makes sense.
But now we have some clarity from the game. So the Rams beat the Bears 2017 the divisional round. Caleb Williams turned the ball over 3 times, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford 0 touchdowns, 258 yards. Kyron Williams had 21 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift had 19 carries for 76 yards. Colson Loveland continued to be the Bears' leading receiver with 4 receptions for 56 yards. And Puka Nacua had 5 receptions for 56 yards. So pretty similar there, actually. So this game, talked about it a little bit on our Reacts episode last week, but we only talked about it for a couple minutes. But basically I said it was Dennis Allen's best game of the year when it comes to calling the defense, because this was the number one offense coming into Chicago, and Bears defense actually stood pretty tall. And a lot of people fault Ben Johnson for not kicking field goals when he should have. I do think he probably should have kicked field goals, because this was going to be a gritty matchup. But I said this last week too. I think Ben Johnson was kind of calling plays the way he's been having to do it all season, where the assumption is you're going to have to score a lot of points, score touchdowns instead of field goals, because you're trying to keep up with your defense allowing the other offense to score. But the Bears defense actually ended up playing pretty well. So as a whole, let's go to Caleb and go to just basic takeaways for this game, and what surprised you, what didn't surprise you.
Yeah, I mean the big surprise, obviously, you just said it was the Bears defense. Actually, looked pretty stellar. It was, with them playing defense the way they were, that makes the loss sting even more, because you sit there and you're like, man, could they actually make a run with this kind of defense? Because if that's the number one offense, it's not like there's a better offense in the league than that. So it's pretty impressive. I will say, to give a little criticism to Ben Johnson, I'm a big Ben Johnson fan now, but give criticism on the not taking field goals. He reminded me of that Dude Perfect thing when they're playing Madden, and he's like, dude, you're not going to punt. It's 4th and 30. He's like, nobody punts. That's just an option they give you. Kind of reminded me of Ben Johnson with the field goals. Nobody kicks field goals. That's just an option they give you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, overall, you know, I would have liked to see the last drive of the game. I would have liked to see a little bit safer passes. Don't try to pull everything off in one chunk. Williams, I guess, saw an opening, and there was an opening there technically, but Rams DB made a good play on the ball. I don't know if it was DJ Moore, if it was Caleb Williams, or if it was a combination, but I would have liked to see a little bit safer plays there because it's not like they can stop your dink and dunk game. They really haven't been able to all game. So, yeah, I would have liked to see a little difference there, but overall, entertaining game. I was glad we ran it to the end. Disappointed with the outcome.
All right, Ryan.
Well, obviously we're all sad that the Bears lost, but as Caleb said, they held in there against the number one offense in the league right now. But one of the things that jumped out to me was that the Rams didn't have any turnovers. They can go back to the game before. Did the Packers have any turnovers? I don't think so. So for the team that was, I think, like number one on takeaways during the season, they really didn't get any in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember, chatting with you a little bit, Luke, saying that, oh, look at the Bears. They got the most interceptions and so on and so forth. And you're like, though, turnovers can happen or they cannot. They're not a good metric to measure defenses by. And, I mean, we kind of see this in the playoffs.
Well, you're paraphrasing me because I was talking through a pillow that I was crying into.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, but we see both these games. I mean, they didn't have any turnovers, and they were both close games. So I think that it was kind of a reality check for Bears fans, saying, "Hey, we know the team is good, but let's rein it in. Let's let you know how good they actually are." But in terms of, we were talking about those fourth down plays. I mean, they got 3 for 6, so 50% of the time they got those fourth down plays.
Well, one of them was that ridiculous 4th and 4 back fading kind of Hail Mary touchdown thing that happened.
They still got it. All Kmet open in the end zone.
What a play! It is tough, that play happening, because, well, it's not tough that play happening. Obviously, it's great. It's just tough that they lost, because now that play went from being, a contender for a top 10 play in NFL history if they would have won, to now it's one of those footnote plays. You know what I equate it to is the, Caleb, you remember this, and Ryan, you probably remember it too, the 2015 NFC Divisional Packers versus Cardinals, Aaron Rodgers, the double Hail Mary game.
Mm-hmm.
But the Packers went on to lose that game, so now it's going to be a play in a highlight reel labeled best plays in a game where the team lost. That's the type of video that this ends up in now. So
yeah, I will say, I was thinking this earlier. So Cole Kmet got a concussion and didn't come back in the game, unfortunately.
Colson Loveland.
He wasn't it. I'm sorry, yeah, Colson Loveland. I don't think he was in at all in the overtime, was he? He got out of the fourth quarter, right? Yeah. So obviously it's a bummer that he got concussion and everything, but wouldn't it have been so funny if he would have gotten out of the blue medical tent and then just got on the exercise bike? Everyone would be like, ah!
And he changed his jersey to he swaps jerseys with Kyler Gordon so he can wear number 6.
Got a cigarette in his mouth.
So, yeah. Now, it's brutal the way that the game ended. The interception was a little bit of a heartbreaker there. I will say, I think there was a lot of maturity from Caleb Williams in the press conference about it. Obviously, he just kept saying, it's just a miscommunication. That's all it is. Didn't throw anyone under the bus. He did kind of, he explained where he went wrong with it. And also, I mean, there's a couple things that I contribute to that pick happening. I think number one, yes, I think it's a miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback. Number two, it's just a really good play by the DB. DB, I mean, he laid out to get that interception. It's just a really good play for him in a really clutch moment. And then number three was just, I think it's an ill-advised throw to begin with. I don't really understand the play concept at that stage of the game. I don't really know why they were calling something like that, but it is what it is. And I mean, we all kind of knew. I don't like how Caleb's the bottom legs. I don't like how that cat's bottom legs are moving around.
Just dangling wherever they please.
See, Luke, what you don't know is that those are actually my legs. That's how I'm sitting.
What is this camera angle?
Oh. The more he looks up, the more his legs dangle.
but anyways. anyways.
See, Luke, you say you like Caleb Williams' maturity. I think it would have been hilarious if he got on the podium and he was like, "Yeah, it was DJ's fault.
Like, we should probably trade him away in the offseason.
he messed it up."
Yeah. That's another thing, though. Bears fans are so volatile most of the time, man. But there's so many Bears fans out there saying, we need to trade DJ Moore away after that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he's still probably your number one receiver, to be honest. I like Rome, but I don't think he's quite number one yet. I do think he's been playing hurt. But, yeah, there's no way they should trade away DJ Moore.
I mean, he's old enough.
Okay, I'm actually for it if they could trade DJ Moore away for a premium pass rusher, which they won't be able to because receivers are way cheaper than pass rushers. But if you could do that, I would totally do it. Not that I think DJ Moore is bad. It's just that you have Luther Burden and you have Rome Odunze and you've got Colson Loveland as your receiving core, and Zacchaeus didn't have a bad year either. So I don't know. I kind of feel like you got riches and wide receivers. Why don't you trade away some of those riches, personally? And DJ Moore's the obvious choice because he's the one with the big contract.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, if you can do DJ Moore and like a first rounder for Max Crosby, then yes, you do it. But there's no way that's going to happen. If anything, it would have to be DJ Moore, 2 first rounders, and probably some other picks for Max Crosby. And I just don't think that's worth doing. Yeah, going back to the game, it was not Caleb Williams' best showing, but I will point out the amount of dropped passes was bizarre. And that's been kind of a storyline with the Bears all season. There have been a lot of dropped passes, and obviously it does contribute to Caleb Williams having a low completion percentage. But it was funny because Zacchaeus had that one really, really bad game against the Giants where he dropped like 5 or 6 passes. And since then, he's been kind of, we've kind of joked about him being a dropper or whatnot. It was funny. The Bears had one drive at the beginning of the game where everyone was dropping passes. And then he throws it to Zacchaeus, and Zacchaeus actually was the only receiver that held onto the ball. He bobbled it for a second, but he did get it. And I said to Ryan, I was like, of course Zacchaeus all of a sudden starts catching passes when everyone else is dropping them.
All the Bears fans were just like, yeah, you got lucky, Zacchaeus.
Yeah. But, we talk about momentum getting killed all the time, and first drive of this game was just rough, man, because they go to Bears offense marches down the field, and it's been what kept happening to the Bears all season, where first drive they march down the field, and then they either get to a 4th and 1 and go for it and don't get it, or they just get stopped in some other way, or maybe they do kick the field goal. In this case, they get down, they throw up. I mean, the pass is a little behind Rome Odunze, but Rome Odunze had a touchdown in his hands, and he drops it. And I think the Bears end up going for it on 4th, and they don't get it. They probably should have kicked the field goal. But honestly, my take on this, and I'll be curious about your guys' take, my take on this was I think Ben Johnson just got really... I think the thing is that you have a dropped touchdown happen, and you're envisioning being up by 7 at that point. So I think when it got down to 4th down, I think under normal circumstances, if the drop touchdown wouldn't have happened, I think they probably would maybe kick the field goal there. But I think it's just the fact that they had to brutally not get 7 by a dropped touchdown that kind of made Ben Johnson be like, nope, we're going for it, because at that point, like, he already had visions of 6 points dancing in his head. So, yeah, what's your guys' take on the aggressive play calling, I guess?
Ryan, I'll let you go first this time.
I believe we've already kind of touched on this, but they got 3 out of the 6. One was a low percentage chance, but they were rather effective on these 4th down conversions here. Now, saying that, the weather was bad and was going to turn worse. So I am of the opinion, when you have bad weather, take the easy points when you can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I probably would have liked to see a field goal at least once, but
I mean, it's brutal as Bears fans to have to look at it and be like, what could have been if Odunze catches that touchdown? You know, does the game even go into overtime? And to be honest, I think the game does go into overtime because I don't think the crazy Cole Kmet catch happens if they're up by 7 at that point. So
Yeah, but the whole game just plays different after that, and the Rams would be playing from behind, and
right.
just the whole mantra.
I mean, it's just something that like I think coaches need to think about in the playoffs. Like the biggest killer of momentum is going for it on fourth and not getting it when you could have points. So, yeah. That being said, I thought Ben Johnson called a decent game, and obviously still have a lot of faith in him. Did you guys? I guess Caleb, if you have opinions about all of this, like I'm gonna pass it to you in a second, but did you guys also hear the press conference from like this last week where they were kind of doing, season recap press conference?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
Ben Johnson said, "No, we have nothing. There's nothing that we're building off of. Like we go back to square one now." And he's saying a lot of things that a lot of former players, like analysts now, are fired up about. A lot of people trust him. So, I mean, I still have a lot of faith in Ben Johnson, and I don't think he called perfect games in the playoffs. I do think there were some things that I wish they would have done differently, but overall, like, I still think the Bears have. I think the Bears have found their head coach for the next 10 years. So, Caleb, I'll pass it to you.
I think it'd be really funny if he was like, "No, we don't build off anything. We start from square one. We're getting a new quarterback, new team."
We're gonna trade Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and Montez Sweat, and we're gonna get Drake May, the guy we should have drafted all along.
Drake May, and Jaden Daniels, and right 2 runs.
Yeah,
And Patrick Mahomes.
Ben Johnson is also the Bills owner at the same time. He's like, yeah, we should have never drafted that guy. The coaches really wanted him though.
No, I mean I actually have an opinion on that 4th down play. It's hard. I would have taken the points there, but I think what it comes down to is that was the first drive of the game, if I'm correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben Johnson had not seen his defense play yet this week. So he did not know how good they were going to be against the Rams, and that just shows me that he did not trust them at all. And then they turned out being really good. And you actually kind of sensed that in his press conference because he was like, yeah, the really big bummer part of this is the defense played really well, and the offense is the one who didn't get it done.
Yeah.
And it's because he didn't trust that they were going to get it done. So kind of makes sense, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a fan of taking points when you can, unless you just have to do the math, right? And if you haven't been able to stop them all game, and you need to go for it on 4th down, and it's towards the end of the game, in my opinion, there's really no circumstance to go for it on 4th down unless it's 4th down and like 4th and 1, and you're on the goal line. Then I would maybe go for it. But other than that, in the first quarter, always take the points. Always kick the field goal because you don't know how the rest of the game is going to play out. And more often than not, we've seen these games come down to a field goal or 2 or 3 points, and it makes all the difference. So yeah, I'd take the points.
So they had a lot of 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s that didn't go their way, and part of it was obviously the offensive line they had to shake up because Ozzie Trapillo ruptured his patellar tendon in the Green Bay game, so they actually had Joe Thuney playing left tackle, which he hadn't played all year. He's a left guard. They had him playing left tackle, and then I actually don't remember who it was that they had playing left guard, but either way, it was someone that hasn't been playing well. So for a while there, they were running almost exclusively to the right side, and that wasn't working out for them, so they had to start switching things up. They were able, I mean, Thuney's a really good offensive lineman in general, so he played pretty well at left tackle. It's just not having, being down a starter's never easy. One thing that I wish that they would have done differently is on these 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, a lot of them they had DeAndre Swift in the game, and DeAndre Swift is he had his best season as a pro pretty much this year, and the Bears lost their running back coach, which is rough, but DeAndre Swift has played really well. It's just when it comes to between the tackle short yardage stuff, like I don't know why you wouldn't have Monangai in the game. He has been your between the tackles guy because he runs angry. He went to Rutgers, which I think is where Pacheco went, so it makes sense. So I don't. Yeah, personnel was a little disappointing when it comes to some of those plays. And I know we're a couple weeks removed, but if you guys remember, like, some of those plays were rough to watch. Like, so many short yardage plays where they just, I don't know, they just couldn't run block. They were running a lot of like halfback pitch plays, which I'm not a huge fan of in a short yardage attempt. There were a couple times where they did run it out of the shotgun, like on 4th and goal or 3rd and goal. I think went to Swift and they ran it out of the shotgun, which everyone hates. I don't know why anyone ever runs that play. So, yeah, and that's why I don't think Ben Johnson had a perfect game. I think that he had a decent game, but I do kind of think that he kind of went a little buck wild when it comes to the playoffs. he was calling some aggressive stuff in the playoffs. So,
yeah, that's true. I also think that. I mean, I get it because, I mean, to be honest, the Rams were a better team overall. They had been a better team throughout the season. So in the playoffs, if you want to win, you kind of gotta have the ball bounce your way a few times, which obviously didn't happen for them. But the two obvious things were that Ben Johnson did not trust his defense, at least in the first half of that game, and he did not trust running on the left side of the line.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a killer because a coach like Sean McVay will adjust to that and see that. I think they only ran on the left side 2 times all game. Yeah, that's a tough situation. But those injuries at the end of the day are just brutal because when you have those kind of injuries at the last second, what you've been doing all season, you no longer can do. And I actually thought that the left tackle did a pretty good job. The guy moving over, I thought he did a pretty good job overall.
Tooney.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, right now, I told Ryan this like a week ago. I said, if I had to get an offensive lineman jersey right now, it would be Joe Tooney. And he's actually pretty far up on the list on Bears jerseys that I want to get. Obviously, number 1 right now is Caleb Williams, right? Because the best investment. He's probably going to be on the team for a while. But I think for me, it goes Caleb Williams, probably a Dunze, and then I think Tooney. Like, the dude is he's a stud O-lineman, and he's won everywhere he's gone. He's played for New England, and he played for Kansas City. Won multiple Super Bowls with each of them. But, Caleb, you mentioned the ball not bouncing their way, and I do kind of want to point this out a little bit. It's literal. The ball didn't bounce their way literally against the Green Bay Packers and against the Rams, because if you remember, the Packers fumbled 4 times. And they landed on every single one of them. And in the regular season, that's where the Bears were getting lucky. They were getting turnovers off of, crazy plays where, like, go back to the Commanders game, box snap, Bears land on it, get into field goal range, win the game. And Bears got unlucky there, but then the Rams, it was Stafford threw a pick to Kevin Byard, and Byard dropped it. There were a couple fumbles that the Rams were able to get back on top of, so... I mean, it's just Bears got kind of unlucky. Jaquan Brisker balled out in this game, and he's a free agent now, and he might have just played himself into a contract just off of this one performance. He had 8 tackles and 6 assisted tackles and a sack. He was playing lights out. So, yeah, defense got kind of unlucky, but in the playoffs, but they stood tall when they needed to. I mean, they were able to keep Green Bay back. Keep Green Bay at bay and let that crazy comeback happen. And then they also did a pretty good job against the number 1 offense. So it's weird. There was no world in which I thought that the Bears were going to go into this game and lose because of their offense. I thought that they would lose off of their defense, but I think realistically, all of us as Bears fans, I think we realistically all knew that the Bears maybe could sneak out a win here, but if they did, we're all realistic to know, like, Bears weren't going to be able to beat Seattle. We're talking about Seattle's defense would have played very well against the Bears, and then the Bears defense probably would have had a really hard time stopping Seattle. So I think we all knew that the furthest the Bears could get is the NFC Championship. So I don't know. I think, in my opinion, now that I've had a little bit of time away from it, obviously it hurts, right? It hurts that the Bears didn't win this one.
Oh, he plays for the Eagles.
But it hurts. It hurts that the Bears didn't win this one. But at the same time, it's kind of nice that the Bears went out on a game that came down to one score. You got some cool highlight plays. You got that crazy Hail Mary thing, which, by the way, wasn't really a Hail Mary. A lot of people are like, well, it was just a Hail Mary. I don't understand why people are praising it. It's like, no, he had enough time. He even said that he had enough time. He got down there, he looked, he saw that they had one dude on Komet, and he even said, he's like, and I saw it was kind of a little dude, so I just tried to give Komet a ball that he could box him out on.
He wasn't little, he was really far away.
He was
like,
hold a DB for ants?
He was like, hold him a quarter, he's about the same size.
What is that, a corner for ants? But, so, yeah. I don't know. So, how do you guys feel? Like, do you guys kind of agree with me? Where, like, it's better that the Bears went out on a game where they kept it close, it was exciting, rather than them winning this game by a field goal, going into Seattle, and then losing, 40-14. Which I think could easily have been the score for that.
I mean, I would rather have had them win this game, obviously,
Well, yeah.
But that being said, I would much rather win a close game than get blown out. So
yeah, I just think. Well, I think that if they were going to go from winning this game to getting blown out, I think I'm okay with how this game turned out. Obviously, if they could have somehow been competitive against Seattle, then I'd rather they be in the NFC Championship. But I'm not very convinced after watching Seattle how they. I mean, you remember the Bears 49ers, it was, neck and neck, and then the Seahawks just blew out the 49ers 2 different times in the last couple of weeks. So I just think the Seahawks are a little too much to take right now. So let's get into, I guess, anything left on this game before we start talking about just the season as a whole?
No, not much.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, we talked about it earlier, but it is the biggest thing that's unfortunate to me about the loss is that throw will go kind of unknown now. People won't talk about that throw anymore, which is kind of a bummer, right? Because that was a really crazy throw.
Yeah. Yep, it was like a day later, the NFL post on YouTube, they posted a compilation video that was best plays that a losing team made, and the thumbnail was Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay.
It was impressive, though, that the Bears, if we're looking at the stats, they held the Rams to 33% for third down efficiency, and they beat them in total passing yards, and they're the number 1 offense. So, very impressive showing by the Bears defense.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the season as a whole, then. Obviously, I think we all can agree it was a pretty magical season. This was a team that we thought the best case scenario was they go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. And obviously they exceeded expectations. They won their division. They won a playoff game against the Packers, which, makes it a little bit extra sweet. And yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson's first season as a head coach, I think he passed every test with flying colors. Then Caleb Williams in his second year, I think he had just enough growth. Well, not just enough, but he had growth that, makes us hopeful. So I guess let's just go with some takeaways that, things that you had fun watching this season and, what you think made this season, so special. So Caleb, we'll start with you. That way Ryan has time to come up with a response.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better it was a good season. Best season. It was honestly the most fun I've had as a Bears fan in about, 2018 was the last time I've had this much fun. And the thing about 2018, too, was I've said this many times, that was all smoke and mirrors, man. We knew that wasn't going to carry over next year.
Yeah.
We knew that Trubisky wasn't actually a good quarterback, although Buffalo thinks he is, apparently. Yeah, so the only thing that could have made it better was if the Bears had beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. That would have been cool, but maybe next year. Anyway,
they will never play the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Caleb will.
How dare you?
Caleb
yes,
will
they
never be happy.
Maybe they'll switch. Maybe they'll switch conferences. Anyway,
Yeah, that happens.
We'll switch with the Jags. We'll go over to.
Yeah, there you go. Bring the Jags over.
Dude, I wish the Bears played in the AFC South right now. Are you kidding me?
That's what I say. We will switch to that division.
Yeah, I really the ceiling I thought for this team this year, I thought they could maybe make the playoffs. That was the ceiling, but I didn't think they would. Right? I thought they could maybe make the playoffs. I guess they were going to go about 8 and 9. So to have them make the playoffs, actually win the NFC North, and host and beat Green Bay in a playoff game, that was so much fun and so much better than if you had said at the beginning of the season, hey, you're going to lose in the divisional round, a close game in overtime, but you're going to beat the Packers in the wild card round in Soldier Field, I would have been like, yeah, sign me up. It sounds like a good season.
Yeah.
And you think it's not even that. They went toe to toe with the Packers all 3 games, beat them 2 out of 3, both in Soldier Field. I love that it feels like the rivalry is back for the Packers and the Bears, and that's something I haven't been able to say in quite a while. And I know that they've played, I know they beat them technically last year, and I know they've played them pretty close the last couple of years, but it feels a little different this time. It feels like they actually will go back and forth, which I think will make for an exciting season. So, yeah, I was impressed. Ben Johnson really seemed to rally the troops well, seemed to create a new culture. Yeah, I'm optimistic. I have thoughts on the offseason and what we need to do, but overall, I think there's nothing to hang our heads about. It was a good season, and yeah, I hope we'll be back next year.
Yeah, talking about the Packers rivalry being back is funny because, I mean, you know how it is online. There have been many Packers fans that are like, "Oh, you guys have one good season, you're all proud about it." It's like you guys have been hanging your hat on years of beating up on a bad Bears team, and then the Bears beat you while you're contenders, getting into the playoffs, and they beat you in the playoffs. And you're trying to act like, oh, we shouldn't be able to celebrate that victory. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, Bears go 4-12, Packers beat them twice a year, and we don't hear the end of it all off season. So
I think if Ben Johnson continues to beat Matt LaFleur, the handshake should get like less and less. Like at one point, he would just like tap his hand. Yeah, woo, see ya.
At one point, I would like to see Ben Johnson just boop his nose. Boop.
Aren't you a little cutie?
All right, Ryan, season summary.
Season summary. Well, it was a great season. We had a good time. No, it was fun to watch your team when you know that the offense can actually do something. Because I know these past couple of years we're wondering if we can even make a first down during the game. And then you have these playoff games and these fourth quarter drives that, man, they kind of wreak havoc on your blood pressure, and you get anxious. Are they going to do it? Will they not do it? They've done it before. So it was fun watching an offense that can actually function. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed them beating the Packers in the regular season. So splitting them 1-1, and we'll probably, beat them, both times next year. I mean, you can always dream, right?
No. Don't you know, Ryan? Packers fans say once Micah Parsons comes back, they're going to beat the Bears every game, 52-0.
Oh.
Micah Parsons is that big a difference maker.
I will say, isn't it kind of, we've all been Bears fans for a while. Isn't it kind of an ominous, weird feeling when the Bears have the ball in the fourth quarter and you're like, oh, yeah, they're going to go down and score? Mm-hmm. Like, isn't that a weird feeling? Because my whole life being a Bears fan, I was always like, come on, get a first down.
Right?
Well, that's the thing about like Kansas City fans is there were a couple times where I was watching the Bears in the fourth quarter of games this year, and I'm like, how lucky are like Kansas City fans and Patriots fans that were watching back in the Brady days to actually be able to watch a team do it year in and year out like that, and like just have that kind of confidence where it's like actual confidence. Like for us, it's like we had confidence, but not the same level, right? Where it's like we've seen them come back before. Hopefully, they can do it again. How lucky are like fans of good franchises? They get to just sit back like every week and be like, "Oh yeah, Mahomes has got this," or "Oh yeah, Brady's got this." Like, it's something Bears fans have not gotten to experience ever. And I hope that going forward, I hope it's something where it's like, "Oh, Caleb's got the ball in the fourth quarter, down a score. yeah, we got this. They got this. You know?
See, the question is, will we ever get so confident in this team to where, minute and a half left, Caleb Williams gets the ball back, he's got one timeout, and they're down by 6 points. Will we ever be confident enough to just like shut up the TV? Yeah, they won.
No, but I don't think anyone can do that.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
think Chiefs fans can do that. I don't think. Yeah.
That's the real test. If you can do that, then you really trust your team.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing that, regardless.
I'll
of
read.
their fan base.
I'll read about the Chiefs winning in tomorrow's paper. That's what I say.
Yeah. Yeah, you wish. Okay, well, let's go to going forward. Obviously we talked about Ben Johnson's press conference, saying that there's nothing that they're building off of. It's back to square one. Listen to Caleb Williams' press conference. Kind of liked what he had to say. I think Caleb Williams, it's funny because Caleb Williams is a really, you can tell he's a very competitive person. And, he got a lot of grief online from the USC days when, they lost their big game. Him crying, him going over to his mom and, hugging her, and you can see he's crying. It's like, why is that I get why, it's a quote-unquote bad thing, but it's like, it shows that the dude cared. Because he played a good game. It shows that he's upset that they lost. He's not just like, I did what I could. So, I had no issue with that, and that was before the Bears drafted him. I was like, so? It shows he's a competitive guy. And I just think that, that game-sealing pick against the Rams, I think that's kind of, I think that's going to stew in him for a little while, and I think, I think it'll make him better. So, and I think it's the same thing with Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson, being ultra aggressive on fourth down when he maybe should have been taking points, I think I think he'll become a better coach off of this. So, yeah. So going forward, I mean, what are you guys looking forward to, and what's your hope level at? I'd say we'll start with Caleb again.
Yeah, I want to be cautious because we've seen this game before, right? We've seen the Bears be good back in 2018. Now I've drawn a lot of parallels to that team. I think this team was built a different way. They were built from the inside out, right? So the offensive line is what they started with. It's what Ben Johnson rebuilt right away. Work on the running game, work on sound fundamentals. Really work on the play action pass. So that's where I'm a lot more confident in this team of their ability to move forward next year and do something very similar. Do I think they're going to win the NFC North next year? I would love to say yes. Do they have a shot? For sure. Yeah, they definitely have a shot. I think they're, a good team. The problem is the NFC North's really good,
Yeah.
and it's going to be really good next year too. So, I do think that we need to load up on defensive talent in the draft, and I do think we need to go sign a premium pass rusher. That should be the top priority for them this next year. Offensively, we're pretty set. I really don't think – do you guys disagree with that? Is there anything you would change on offense? I mean, you could always use more offensive linemen, but other than that, I think we're pretty set.
So, yeah, with the Ozzy Trapillo injury, I think that maybe third round, see if you can maybe steal a developmental offensive tackle, maybe. And Theo Benedict is still on the team, and I believe in it. He's a great run blocker. He's not great at pass blocking, and that's kind of why they didn't let him play in the divisional game. That's why they moved Tooney over instead of just having Benedict fill in for Trapillo. So I think maybe another offseason for Benedict. Maybe he gets better at pass blocking, and maybe they don't need to go after any offensive tackle because at this point, Trapillo is not going to be back at all next year. He is probably out for the season. So, yeah, I think maybe an offensive tackle, but that's it. The Bears are very fortunate in the fact that pretty much the entire offense is not in a contract year, and most of them, most of their really talented players are on their rookie deals. You look at Monunga, you look at Caleb Williams, look at Luther Burden, look at Colson Loveland, look at Rome Odunze, all on rookie deals. And then, yeah, some of the offensive linemen too. So, yeah, I think they're in a really good spot offensively. So it really is just a matter of getting a good pass rush, and hopefully they'll bring back Kevin Byard in the secondary, and maybe even Jaquan Brisker, depending on if the price is right. So, Ryan, what's your hope level at for next year?
I hope they bulk up on the defensive side of the ball as well. I'm thinking that same as you guys, the offensive has got some good weapons, other than the O line. But how many years has this O line played together? I mean, there's some just chemistry issues I feel they have to work through. So I would be fine with a later round offensive line pick in the draft, third, fourth round. Just find someone with some promising and talent. But right now, as I said, chemistry I think is their biggest thing because we saw from the Packers game to the Rams game, we saw a couple unabated to the not unabated, but they let a couple defenders through in the Packers game, and then you get to the Rams game, and I didn't really see that happen. So I think the offensive line just needs more time to play together under a Ben Johnson offense, and I think we're fine there. Defensively, someone that can rush to the passer. I think it's all we really need. They play a little bit loose on we'll say at cornerback. They had a lot of takeaways, but they also got beat a lot of times. Shout out, who is he? 26.
What's that?
Who's the cornerback for the Bears? I'm forgetting his name.
Caleb Williams.
Jalen Johnson, no. Kyler Gordon.
No, Walker.
Walker.
Jabari Walker.
Jade Walker.
Yeah,
he's a wide receiver.
No, but the Bears have
C.J. Gardner Johnson.
It seemed to me that they got the takeaways because they were looking to jump routes and play a little bit more.
Oh, you're talking about Nahshon Wright.
In the way, yeah. So I think they play a little bit different on defense. That might be fine, and just picking up a pass rusher would be adequate because then they could sit just in that first part of the route and okay.
That's it.
Well, I guess
that's not a very climactic way to end your thought.
No. Okay, if they get a good pass rusher, that the quarterback has less time to throw, and then they could sit in the first part of the route where they were getting the picks, and then it would be better than say, hey, let's give the QB 3, 4, 5 seconds to throw, and the receivers already through the end of his route, and they're all the way open because they were playing it too close. Or so.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I was a big fan, like Caleb was saying. I was a big fan of how they attacked the offseason last year. They built up the offensive line. They grabbed some good, steady offensive players in the draft, some good playmakers, some developmental guys. And then defensively, they did okay. The one signing that I did not like was Grady Jarrett. And the reason was because they signed Grady Jarrett, and my very first reaction was, he still plays in the league? Because he's like 34. And then the worst fears came to life when he spent most of the year on IR. And then when he did play, he's just, he's an aging pass rusher. And he wasn't that big a difference maker. And the biggest issue with what happened is he can't even be a cap casualty this year because I just looked it up last night. His dead cap is way too high. So they have to keep him for next year or maybe try to trade him away. But I don't know what you can trade him for. So he's going to be on the Bears next year because he's not worth cutting until the next year. So that's a tough signing with that one. But as of now, have you guys looked at the Bears' opponents next year?
I heard it's the hardest in the NFL.
It is, yeah. Right now, it's projected to be the most difficult schedule in the NFL. So, and it's because of that next year I've got them winning 10 games, and it's not because I think the team is going to get worse. I think the team's actually going to get better because, like I said, the whole offense is coming back pretty much. It's just defense, and they've got some cap space where they can hopefully fix some of their problems on defense. And that coaching staff is going to get another year under their belt. So I think they're going to be a better team. It's just their schedule is going to be brutal. So I'll read it off to you guys just so that you guys get a thought about it. So obviously there's the NFC North division teams, but then you've got the Buccaneers, the Eagles,
Win.
yeah, the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Saints, Ryan's team,
They're gonna lose that. Saints are good.
the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Seahawks. It is a brutal schedule. So, how many of those teams are playoff teams this year?
Bills,
Well, yeah,
Eagles.
Bills, Eagles, Jags, Patriots, and then
You know what
Seahawks and
you know what I-
Panthers.
Yeah, you know what I think, Luke? I think that all those teams are going to fall off, and the Patriots had the easiest path to the Super Bowl so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is the thing. So you can't get too afraid of a schedule, right? Because there's always a team that everyone thinks is going to be really good that ends up not being good because of injuries or whatever else. So I think everything should work itself out. But yeah, it is a gauntlet right now. So right now, I'm not confident saying they're going to win more than 10 games. But, you know, if they win 10 games, hopefully they can steal a wild card slot. And, you know, the Lions and Packers aren't going anywhere. It's another thing. Like, the Lions had a down year. It was because of injuries, though. Like, the Lions are going to be back, and the Packers are going to be back next year, too. I mean, the Vikings are the only team that may or may not be good next year. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough division, and it's going to be a tough schedule. So, that being said, you know, I think we have reasons to be optimistic for the first time in a very long time.
So I've got a question for you guys. Trey Hendrickson is a free agent this year. Should we go grab him?
I think he's gonna be. It's gonna be too much
He's
money.
he's over 30, and he'll probably demand 30 million a year.
Yeah, and that's why, Caleb, I know I talked to you about it. I don't know if I talked to Ryan about it. At that point, if I'm the Bears, I'm checking in and seeing if Khalil Mack is going to come back for another year, and I'm seeing if I can ink him to a pretty team-friendly deal since he's 34, 35. So he hasn't said whether or not he's going to retire yet, but if he comes back, he said that he wants to go out with a ring. If I'm the Bears, I'm seeing if Khalil Mack wants to reunite because I think he'd be a pretty good deal. I think he's playing for maybe 16 or 15 mil right now for the Chargers. So if the Bears can get him for like 13 and then draft a edge rusher in the first round and see if you can strike gold, like that's what I would do. I don't think Hendrickson is worth going after. I think he's good. I just don't think that he is like the elite level talent that like a Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Micah Parsons is. So
yeah. Do you think that would you trade for Max Crosby?
And it's another thing where it just has to do with the price. And right now, I don't like the price. I don't like the multi first rounders. I mean, that being said, if tomorrow we find out the Bears did it, like I'll be happy about it. But it's a lot to do 2 first rounders and like probably a second rounder. You're mortgaging a lot for a player that is, how old is he? 28, 29?
Old.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you don't want what happened to the Packers to happen, right? You don't want to mortgage so many of your picks, so much of your future, and then have that player tear their ACL. Like, it's a tough situation to be in. So, like, I kind of just want to see them be smart in free agency, and then I want to see them draft a guy because so far, Ryan Poles has been a pretty good. Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson together, like, I'm very happy with their draft picks. Like, they hit home runs all over the place. And the 9 guy in the 7th round was just a cherry on the top. So, yeah, I don't know. If the Bears go out and get Crosby, I'll be happy, but I'll also be a little bit worried about it. So,
Here's the question on everybody's mind, Luke. Is the Bears Super Bowl window now open?
yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's open, but I'd say they have more time than the average team does because they have a lot of players on rookie deals.
So here's the thing. In my opinion, if your Super Bowl window's open, go take swings. Like, go trade picks. Take swings. Because it's not going to be open forever, especially when you got rookies, right? You got 5 years.
Right.
You get a 5th-year option. That's it.
Yeah. But taking swings like the Micah Parsons trade is the reason why the Packers are in like a 2-year Super Bowl window, where if they don't win it in the next 2 years, they're in a lot of trouble.
I don't. I don't really agree with that because I know that and I know that the um, Chiefs are dealing with that right now, right? That's the reason that they had such a hard time. It's the reason they couldn't keep Tooney. Like that all makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I don't know. I see really good teams uh, that are like pretty smart and really well run teams kind of get around that like 2 year, 3 year window situation. They're just consistently good. The Rams have done that to an extent. Like Matthew Stafford he's not overpaid. He's paid what he's supposed to be. They asked him to take a pay cut a few times, and you know what he said? Nope, I'm not doing it. He's not taking a pay cut,
Yeah.
and they're still making it to the NFC Championship. So I don't know. I think really well teams get around that situation where you have kind of a window, and I understand the window aspect of it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a really good team can kind of get around it.
Well, it helps when you are a team that appeals to free agents. When you're a team that free agents want to come to and they're willing to maybe not get top dollar to go. And I do think that's what the Bears have right now. Like, there are a lot of players that are looking at Ben Johnson and their coaching staff and their team right now, and they're like, you know what? I kind of like what's going on in Chicago. And I'm very curious about free agency this year. Like, when it opens up, I'm very curious to see what they can get in free agency and for how much, because they might be able to get some good deals based off of just being an appealing team. And you see it happen with teams, right? Like you're talking about with the Rams. There are players that specifically go to the Rams because they want to be in Sean McVay's system. And I mean, it kind of worked with the Lions. The Lions went from being a team that nobody wanted to play for to a team with Dan Campbell. They became a team where a lot of free agents were starting to float out to Detroit. So, yeah. If off topic, but if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, you guys think he's never going to see the end of his contract?
He won't see.
He's on a 3-year deal right now. So I'm saying if they win the Super Bowl, are they going to tear that up and give him an extension? He's getting paid $33 million right now on 3 years.
I don't think so. I think they'll keep him on the contract.
I think they're going to extend him.
Why would they extend him? If he'll play on the contract, why would they extend him?
I mean, why do you?
If he doesn't play, if he won't play, they'll extend him. But if they I don't know. I think they'll just keep him on the contract if they can.
It's always, I mean, anytime a QB can win a Super Bowl, they get. Well, you remember Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts got a massive extension after the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing with Mahomes. Mahomes, it was after the 2019 Super Bowl, they gave him 10-year contract. So I don't think Darnold's getting that. I think they'll extend him to a 5-year contract though.
Yeah, I don't want to diminish Darnold because I think he's a good quarterback. But do I think Darnold is a top 10 quarterback? Probably not. He's had a lot of turnovers this year. So, and last year too. So, I don't know. I don't think I'd give him the extension. He's a good quarterback, and he's a great he's. It's great that he's cut down on the turnovers and everything. But frankly, I think the Seahawks, with how stacked they are as a roster this year, and their defense and their running game, they can win a game with Sam Darnold throwing 80 yards.
Well, they're not the Patriots.
No, but they literally could do that. They've done it. They've won games with him throwing almost nothing.
Yeah, I think that if they go into the Super Bowl and they win, and Darnold doesn't turn the ball over at all, and he throws for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think they're gonna extend him. I'm not saying that it's the right move. I'm just saying I think that's what's gonna happen. Because that seems to be the trend that happens, but they're going up against good defense. Anyways, that was off topic. So, I mean, yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything we can possibly cover when it comes to the Bears. I think we're all optimistic. It was a very fun season to watch. They gave us many Game of the Year contenders, and I'm talking Game of the Year in the NFL sense, right? Even the games that they lost, like the 49ers game, were entertaining to watch. 49ers, the second Packers game, and the Bengals game. I mean, all 3 of them were All three of those were crazy games. And then just as Bears fans, Bears Commanders, that one, payback for the Hail Mary, that one kind of renewed my soul a little bit. I loved watching Caleb Williams torch Matt Eberflus's Cowboys defense and throw 4 touchdowns. Had his best career game against Matt Eberflus. That was great to watch. So yeah, there were a lot of fun moments this year. So yeah, we're all optimistic. None of us are very happy with the way the season ended, but I think that the team was playing with house money, right? That's the quote that I keep saying. So, and I think it's a very fair summary. So.
Yeah, I will say I think that it's a great season. I'm excited for next season. I'm excited to see us build off of it.
You don't build up. They don't have anything to build off of, Caleb. Back to square one.
Yeah, back to square one. That's right. Getting rid of all their players. Yeah, we'll see what they do next year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll do it. I'm sure we'll, at some point in the off season, we'll get together to talk about the Bears, probably around free agency. But, yep, we'll do an episode of Couch Reacts after the Super Bowl, and that will be it. So, from all of us here at Couch Football, happy holidays. Happy Valentine's Day. That's the next one. All right.
Oh my.
All right. See ya.